For sure. Probably exactly what RFK was talking about. The wearables. He says, I want everyone wearing a wearable by 2029. You know, if the government issued rings for people, it's like, listen, this is going to be great. You can link it to your healthcare. It's going to be awesome.
I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work.
What is that evidence that they found of wood construction from far longer than they thought?
Yeah, this is the Colombo structure.
Mutated animals are gripping the US in a bizarre warts-like outbreak.
There's security systems to keep that data secure, but you know there's going to be weird loopholes in access.
For sure. Probably exactly what RFK was talking about. The wearables. He says, I want everyone wearing a wearable by 2029. You know, if the government issued rings for people, it's like, listen, this is going to be great. You can link it to your healthcare. It's going to be awesome.
They passed this thing in August 2025. Aura revealed it's partnering with the Department of Defense, leveraging Palantir's FedStart platform to enhance data security for military use. And they're like, no, it's not going to collect the data of everyone that has an Aura ring. And it's like,
guys, trust us.
come on.
Guys,
We
trust
wouldn't.
us.
We would never do anything like that.
Honestly, that idea didn't even cross my mind.
We do read your texts and emails, but we would never collect your biometric data.
What are you talking about?
You guys sound crazy.
I'm leaving. Put on this ring.
You gotta laugh at this stuff, because if you don't laugh at it, then what are you gonna do? Because literally the world just seems like it's just losing its mind, and we are slowly just giving more and more of our rights and freedoms away until eventually we are going to be stuck in 15-minute cities. You can say that's conspiratorial, but then you're just not doing enough research.
First it was squirrels, then it was rabbits, and now deer. Just listen to this news story.
Mutated animals are gripping the US in a bizarre warts-like outbreak. Deer across the country have been spotted with tumor-like growths hanging off their bodies. These deer join the likes of rabbits and squirrels who have showed signs of similar viruses in recent months. Wildlife officials have already identified the condition as deer cutaneous fibroma, better known as deer warts, which is a condition spread through disease-carrying insects, and it's spreading like wildfire. These wart growths are species-specific, and it is understood that they cannot jump to humans.
So this is actually kind of interesting, because you have the deer warts, which was on the deer, and then you also have the the cottontail rabbit, papillomavirus, I don't know, papillomavirus. I butchered that, I know. But both of these, it's rather interesting, because both of these were actually discovered in the 1930s, around the exact same time. So it's just kind of strange that these were all popping up on different animals at the same time, and we're still seeing them to this day, almost 100 years later.
The entire world is a lie, and most people too deep in the program to even notice. You see, 90% of the population are sleepwalking. Their eyes are open, but their minds are caged. Then there's 5%, the ones who noticed something was wrong, trying to wake everyone up. But there's a problem. That 1% at the top, the puppet masters, they don't want the sleepers to wake, so they fund the other 4%. The gatekeepers, the trolls, the so-called fact-checkers, who are trained to attack, silence, and mock the 5% truth-tellers. It's a war, but it's not fought with guns. It's fought with ideas, algorithms, and fear. And the saddest part, the 90% defend their chains. They laugh at the ones trying to free them. They fight to protect the very prison that keeps them small. So if you feel like you're losing friends, if you feel like no one gets it, you're not crazy. You're just awake, and that's what scares them the most.
I heard a song recently where they were talking about the most dangerous prison and how it does not exist with bars. It's a prison of the mind that they have created, to where the bars are within your mind. And generally, we kind of hold that prison in our hand.
I am announcing this government will make a new free of charge digital ID mandatory for the right to work by the end of this parliament.
Mandatory.
Let me spell that out. You will not be able to work in the United Kingdom if you do not have digital ID. It's as simple as that.
The arrogance of these people. And it's as simple as that. I'm kind of curious as to what the people are going to say.
No to digital ID law! We say no! No to digital ID!
Well, I guess you have your answer. And see, this is what needs to happen in the United States. Literally every other country looks at the United States. This is where we need to start taking a stand and fighting against this stuff instead of tucking our tail between our legs like we do all the time. When did America become so frail? We need to find our backbones again, just like the rest of the world is.
Destroyed and gone, erased from our timeline. Lake of the Ozarks, now a massive summer destination with over 3 million visitors each year. They're all just jumping into the water every year, the same water that is documented by the Union Electric and other historical summaries to have approximately 2,800 graves inside of it. Over 60 known cemeteries located in the areas that were flooded. And just like we saw in Turkey in episode 120, I would guess that there are so many more than 2,800 bodies inside that water right now. I would guess that so many giants, just like we saw in Cahokia, as well as other places, so many old world individuals were found in this location and needed to be submerged inside that massive body of water, with 1,121 burial sites being identified with tombstones, meaning there could easily be 1,600 bodies or more. Just like we said, there are many, many more, in my opinion, underneath that lake that were never relocated. And I would bet so many of these people visiting have no idea what's in that water. And I was about to book a trip and go there and maybe take a look around. But I'm glad I just double checked to see how many bodies are in that water before jumping in and having a good time. Glad I know what's under the water now. Someone commenting on the page says grandmother was born in Lynn Creek, saying who knows how many of his ancestors are still beneath the lake. His parents are buried at Rockdale Cemetery. Probably his grandparents too. So who's ready to jump in? Lake of the Ozarks is no longer just a random pool. It's exposed for what it is a massive destruction site, ruining the old world and a huge burial ground with possibly thousands of people in the water. All documented, and there is no doubt about it. Music, beer, and parties with the deceased under their feet.
I live about 2-ish hours away from Lake of the Ozarks, and that's even where I had my bachelor party for like a week. We were swimming in there, and there was a part where I got tossed off of the boat, and I'm out in there. I got my life jacket on, and I'm out there, and the waves are coming in, and you can't see anything around you, and you're hoping that another boat doesn't come by and just freaking trash you. But I felt unease the entire time I was actually in the water, and that it's a very deep lake. And now knowing that there are thousands of bodies underneath of it, it really does start to make sense why I felt so uneasy. Yeah, it's the stuff of like nightmare fuel. And, you know, take the giants aside, you know, if you want to go that route, then go that route. But even not, that's still a lot of bodies that are just under there that were just buried again. To where nobody's able to say who's down there. It's a dangerous place too. A lot of people go missing.
Okay, everyone, welcome back to part 2 of the Philadelphia World's Fair. Let's get into it. Now, this book is a very long book, and one of the best things about it is its illustrations. And it says that it was engraved by 2 people, Van Ingen and Snyder. But this book was also printed in the year of this World's Fair. So they not only did all of those illustrations in that year, but they also put together this entire book and printed it within the same year as this exhibition, which I just find amazing. So if anyone in the comments has any insight as to how they did all of these engravings and printed this book in the same year, definitely let me know. I mean, look how detailed these drawings are, or engravings, I should say. It's amazing. And so this is just a list of all of the images, which we will be getting to soon. So the first couple chapters in this book is detailing why Philadelphia. Obviously, Philadelphia is where the signing of the Declaration of Independence first occurred, so it's a fitting home for the 100-year anniversary of that. But we're going to go through and look at old Philadelphia and look at some of the beautiful buildings they tore down. I mean, we'll take the first example right here. I'm going to show you the street view of what this address looks like right now. They not only leveled this, but countless other beautiful buildings that were just sitting in Philadelphia, not even as a special part of the World's Fair. And I would just love to know why. I have my own theories. You guys can drop yours in the comments, but look at these amazing buildings. That is also on Market Street, just like the other one I showed you. And we're gonna keep going through, and I'm gonna show you guys my favorite example of this. Look at this publishing company. Absolutely amazing. This is the YMCA. A little bit different than the YMCAs we're used to seeing. Look how beautiful that is. This is the Provident Life and Trust Company. This is a view of Chestnut Street. I mean, look at that. It looks like we're in Europe right now. Would you ever think that was Philadelphia if it wasn't laid out in this book? Now, we know they kept Independence Hall, but ironically, it does not even compare to what I'm about to show you. Now, look at this. This is the old Masonic Temple on Chestnut Street. I mean, have you ever seen anything that beautiful? I feel like I'm in Cologne, Germany. That was in Philadelphia. It's just incredible. Now, I wanted to compare what this looks like with the current street view, and Google won't even admit that this building ever even existed. It said, no, the old Masonic Temple is actually on 1 North Broad Street, not Chestnut Street. Very common misconception. And don't get me wrong, the building they're still showing me is beautiful and is actually still standing today. But I can't find any record of this, which is insane to me because it's so stunning. Now that we've walked down memory lane of old Philadelphia, let's start getting into the World Fairs. Stay tuned for part 3.
Okay, so when it comes to the World Fairs, what is everybody's opinion? Because there's a lot of people that take it at the mainstream narrative that these are just structures that were being created and built for months, sometimes years before the World Fair actually took place in that city. But the more I have looked into these, and I have looked into them for at least 2 years, I have a multitude of books on them, I have seen countless videos on them, and talked to so many people, and it doesn't really seem to fit. None of it really seems to fit. So I'm just curious as to what everybody's perspective is on this. So if you could read that down in the comments, let's start a conversation on that one.
I'm from outer space. I got Milky Way for blood, evolution in my veins. I'm gone, I've been far away. I'm illuminated now, make a move, start a waves. I've been dreaming about flying for a long time. I had a vision from the birds, they want a coastline. Artificially intelligent way. I'm your future, past and present, I'm a fine line. Yeah, I'm a missing link of this illusion. I am not really here, I'm an intrusion. I don't swim or sink, I just float. I don't need gravity, I need room. When I move, is it a quick rumble? I won't ever fall, never stumble. And I don't need to be humble. Break down walls like Jericho. When I
I know that was in Spanish, and I'm not sure if everybody speaks Spanish, but I do not. But the more you look into Elon, the more strange stuff you're going to come across. And he seems to have his fingers tied into a lot of unusual things. But all of the 6s that were popping up, I mean, just it's enough to definitely make you question things, or at least it should. Now, I'm not sure how many people were actually aware of how many crucifixes were upside down in that video, but there was quite a few. And then it's always made me interested as to why people do this whole thing. That started in apparently like the 200s, but it was just the cross on the forehead, which makes sense. But now we do this, and if you look at the shape that you're doing, you're actually making an upside down cross. So why are we doing that? That seems like it's kind of going in the opposite way that Christianity is supposed to be going. I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to get some feedback on that in a negative way, but
Believe in flat Earth. Yes, you most certainly did say that.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
Don't you shout me down in my own church.
Listen to me. I never said, and then this is a fact.
Absolutely you did.
I preached this for years. Don't interrupt me.
If me being deceived means I believe in a spherical earth, I'm deceived, and you can just go ahead and leave and cancel this debate right now, because you're not going to convince me what the Bible clearly says. The earth is not flat, 1,000%, and if I got people in our church that think it is, that's great. I love you, but if you want to go to his little service in the morning, then go to his service in the morning. It's not going to bother me one bit. The earth is not flat. It was disproven 2,500 years ago. You can't show me one verse in the Bible that proves that the earth is flat. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. We're not going to get anywhere else, because here's the problem. You use 2 hours of PowerPoint presentation and your people are quiet. I use an hour and 15 minutes of the Bible and they get mad and start throwing maters and taters at me.
First of all,
hello, is it sunrise or not?
Not at all. I don't agree with you.
Turn his mic off. Get out.
Wow.
You're a Bible denier.
okay, flat or spherical doesn't really matter. What matters is that individual was not even capable enough of being able to stand up on stage and actually have an intellectual debate without kicking the other guy out first. And I also did look into this a little bit further, and apparently almost half of that man's congregation actually did go the next morning and hear what that individual had to say. So, I'm not stating that the earth is a globe or flat, but I am stating that there's a lot more people that are looking into the idea of a flat earth. And some of it is a little on the overwhelming side of potentially being true. So I would just, look into it. It's interesting. Use your critical thinking skills if you have them. If you don't, start working on them. Try to figure out how to acquire that. Try reading a book.
So, I mean, it's probably just fine and it shouldn't be any big deal at all or whatever, but, Japan figured out how to teleport things today. Like in Star Trek, beam me up, Scotty. I'm sure that's cool, because in America, we can hate each other over nothing, be divided over literally every single topic that comes up, and just make up whatever facts we want to believe. Meanwhile, in Japan, in Kyoto, which is for sure the most magnificent city I've ever set foot in, they figured out how to teleport stuff. So, remind me again how America is the greatest country on earth?
When you see stuff like this, you can't argue with the guy, because in America, we're not really moving in any direction but down. We're literally tearing ourselves apart, either by food or by our politics or just emotions in general. People can't control their emotions anymore. But over in Japan, they're apparently learning how to teleport. Yeah, way to go, America.
I'm going to give you some facts, and I'm going to let you draw whatever conclusion you want to. So it is now a matter of fact that Oracle, Donald Trump, and Netanyahu have all partnered to purchase TikTok in the United States of America, okay? Now, prior to that happening, TikTok in the United States of America appointed Erica Mendel, who is a former IDF soldier and outspoken Zionist, as TikTok's new global hate speech policy manager. Her role includes shaping the platform's strategies against hate speech, especially in regards to anti-Semitism, okay? Netanyahu has also recently purchased Google in the United States, which owns YouTube as a whole. Things are going to get even weirder when you illustrate the fact that the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation are now removing factual data and statistics associated with certain demographics committing certain crimes in the United States of America, okay? So you take that information that I've given you, okay, that Netanyahu now in part owns Google, TikTok, and YouTube, specifically in the United States of America, and do with it what you will,
I'm just going to drop that little nugget of truth on you guys and let you do with that as you will.
What is that evidence that they found of wood construction from far longer than they thought?
Yeah, this is the Colombo structure, and this is something I talk about a lot in my videos because I think it's a crazy find, and I don't understand why it's not kicking up more of a fuss. There you go. Yes, the Colombo structure is these pieces of wood that have been joined together deliberately, cut in notches and connected together, tapered and secured at right angles. And they think it was either a kind of raised walkway, like a kind of raised platform, or a house, a dwelling, a hut, some kind of structure. And why this is so paradigm shifting is because not only does this kind of scream that humans potentially lived in permanent settlement. So, sorry, I haven't even said this. This is 476,000 years old. So this predates Homo sapiens. It's crazy. It's lasted so long.
Monkey wrench.
Yeah, I would say it's a massive monkey wrench because not only does it kind of really dispute this idea that we didn't settle down until 12,000 years ago with the Neolithic Revolution. Because I mean, it's a structure. I mean, and it's just because it's so unlikely, it's so unbelievable that this would have survived. But that kind of suggests that it's not the only one.
Right.
There could have been loads of these, structures everywhere.
I find this to be extremely interesting, but I just don't trust the dating process. It's been flawed this entire time. So many times, people have literally debunked it, proven that it's not actually accurate at all. So how are we able to base that this is, 476,000 years old? It's a number that most people can't even fathom when it really comes down to imagining it in years.
Topic, quote, or lesson of the week.
Mine was going to be, if you don't do the small things well, they'll never trust you to do the big things. Remember that, and everything you do matters. Act accordingly. Everything you do for your child at bedtime, like that second or third tuck-in, the stories you read, the times you fall asleep next to them, the exhaustion, it matters more than you can imagine, because one day they will go to bed on their own, they'll shut the door and turn off the lights themselves, and you will be the one standing in the hallway like me, remembering the nights you were needed so deeply.
Who was that from?
From the Instagram account we_nurture.
That's sick.
That's a great one. Even when I got into those last two lines, it wasn't close, but I felt the change of emotion that was happening that kind of makes you want to tear up, because that's a great reminder.
You're gonna miss those times where they needed you or whatever.
And this one just goes out to all the parents out there. I thought we could all use a reminder that one day our kids are not going to be kids anymore, and they grow up quick. Take it from me, I got 5 kids, and my oldest is 15, and they grow very, very quick. Cherish every moment that you can. One day they won't be there anymore. Well, thank you for enjoying me, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.